What's going on, guys? Welcome back to The Commodity. I'm Fez, and today we are taking a look at United States versus United Kingdom versus Australia, country comparison 2021. I'm fully aware this isn't going to be all accurate, but I think it's going to be generally accurate. I mean, I'm sure if something's drastically off in this video, comment down in the section. You're more than welcome. I mean, obviously, you're more than welcome to. But I'm saying, like, if there's something that's drastically off on your country or the other country, like let's say they say something about our country and you're like, no possible way. Look it up, post it down in the comments so we can have the correct information. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. By the way, we're almost at 90,000 subscribers. We're about 25 subscribers away. If you watched my last video and the video before that, and then you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, just click on the subscribe button. Help me out. We're only 25 away. And then my goal by the end of this year is to be at 100,000. And I will beg Miles to open that box with me on video and post it, because I think he attributed at least 5% of this channel. I'm just kidding. He contributed probably closer to like 70% of these to motivate 70% of the people that are watching to subscribe. But let's jump into this and see what we got.
The United States of America, the United Kingdom, Australia. 3 amazing countries.
I've been to 2. I need to go one more.
Welcome back to the Travel Bible. In this video, we'll be comparing.
You know, I could save money. But if I go, I'll have to bring my ex-wife and my 2 kids, because my ex-wife will not trust me to bring kids all the way across the country. Plus, we hang out all the time. It's fun to get to Australia. So I have to say for 4 people, basically. There's a join button. If you decide that you want to join, I will literally take that money and just set it aside. If you want to help out, of course. You don't have to.
The land of the free, the land of the tea, and the land of the Aussie. We'll take a look at their demographics, geography, economy, and quality of life. And then once you've watched the video, we'll ask you which one you'd visit, which one you'd live in, and which one you'd avoid. So sit.
Okay, so from here, before the video, all honesty, if it wasn't family, I think I would honestly, food. I'd probably stay here. I'd probably live in America because of the food, realistically. And then to visit, what was the question again?
Geography. Back to the Travel Bible. In this video, we'll be comparing the land of the free, the land of the tea, and the land of the Aussie. We'll take a look at their demographics, geography, economy, and quality of life. And then once you've watched the video, we'll ask you which one you'd visit, which one you'd live in, and which one you'd avoid. So
I wouldn't avoid any of them. I'd visit both of them, but I've already been to the UK. I've been to England specifically. I've never been to Northern Ireland or Wales or Scotland or any of that stuff. But I would like to visit those other places. But I think primarily right now my goal would be to visit Australia. Yeah. Now I would avoid the brush, the very center of Australia. That I would avoid.
Back, grab a cuppa.
We already have that. We don't need it.
We hope you learned something new. So let's begin with their demographics by looking at the population of these 3 nations. Starting with the lowest, we have Australia, with roughly 25.5 million, putting them just below North Korea and just above Niger. However, for a mind-boggling fact, Niger's population is growing at an extreme rate. By the year 2050, it is predicted that Niger will have a population of roughly 65 million, compared to Australia.
I would like to know the difference in size of land as well, because, you know, Australia is gigantic.
Who will have roughly 33 million. And next we have the UK, with a population of just under 68 million, putting them behind Thailand and just above France. And finally, the 3rd most populated country on Earth, the US, with roughly 330 million people. However, what's more impressive is that India, who is the next most populated country, has over 1 billion more people than the US. Okay, great.
And based off pictures my mom took when she visited, I'm fine with that. 1 billion people, even in a country this big, I'm good. In fact, I had read that, so Nigeria, actually what I read, okay, Nigeria is like one of the fastest growing, has the fastest growing level of poverty. And then I read that India's poverty, what's it called? I would say homeless or poor, like, the point where they're completely impoverished people. I don't think I used that word right, and I think I made up a word in that sentence, but is more than the population of the United States. So is it worth it? No, not at all. Have a population that you can do your best. Obviously, you're still going to have poor people no matter where you go. You're going to have people that are homeless. You're going to have people that are addicted to things, and you just got to kind of do your best for them.
Let's now take a look at the population densities of these three countries. This is where it gets interesting. With 271 people per kilometre squared, the UK is the most densely populated out of the three.
That's wow.
To no surprise.
Quite a bit.
Next, we have the US with roughly 34 people per kilometre squared, which is crazy considering how densely populated cities like LA and New York City are. And then finally...
So he picks the two most densely populated cities in America. Like, those are the only two, like, extreme, besides Chicago, but even Houston, the fourth largest city in the country, is nowhere near as dense. It's populated, but it's not dense.
A remarkable 3 people per kilometre squared, we have Australia. The state of West Australia is even more remarkable, at just 0.89 people per kilometre squared. Alright, and finally, let's take a look at the life expectancy and average age of population for these 3 countries. So, as expected, this one is super close. Australia takes the win for life expectancy with 82.4 years, followed by the UK with 80.9, and then just behind we have the US with 80.1. And then for the average age, the US actually takes the win here with 38.2, followed by Australia with 38.8, and then the oldest out of the 3, the UK with 40.5. Cool, let's now take a look at the geography of these 3 magnificent countries. Starting off by looking at the percentage of their landmass that's covered by forest. So, to my surprise, the UK actually has the least, at roughly 12%.
Why would that be your surprise? I'm pretty sure UK is smaller than Alaska alone. And they have 99% of that state is basically forest or mountain range of sorts. And then Texas is number 2 with, I believe, forest land by a lot. And we're bigger than the UK. So that, I don't know why you would be surprised by that. And then the size of Australia. Now, to be fair, Australia, I would have figured would be a little bit lower than the US, but I figured it would be a little bit higher than what it actually is. But then you got to think the vast majority of the center of their country or of your country is very brushy, hence the name.
Followed by Australia with 16.2%, and then finally the US with 33% of their land covered by forest. Forests are beneficial to countries because they take carbon and carbon dioxide out of the air,
we're not as bad as you
make the air
think
cleaner,
we are,
and provide perfect habitats for incredible animals. Next, we'll take a look at their total landmass, excluding inland and sea waters.
We do take care of our country,
to no surprise, the UK is by far the smallest out of the 3, with a minuscule 242,000 squared kilometres. And then we have Australia at just under 7.7 million squared kilometres. And then finally, the largest out of the 3 and the 3rd largest in the world, the US, with roughly 9.2 million kilometres squared. Australia's largest state, Western Australia, accounts for around 2.5 million kilometres squared, with an absolutely insane 0.89 people per kilometre squared. Western Australia alone is 12 times the size of the UK and roughly 4 times the size of Texas, to put it in perspective. Let's now compare them on a map using the truesize.com. So believe it or not, when you look at a map, the size of most countries are completely incorrect and out of proportion.
Yeah.
It's difficult to represent our 3-dimensional world on a 2-dimensional space. So this website allows us to see the true size of every country. So as you can see here, Australia and the US are in fact quite similar in terms of size, but they're completely...
I'm curious. It's weird that they compared Western Australia to Texas when Alaska is the biggest state. I would really like to see the compare. I mean, I still think what... All right, I know y'all are going to hate me. I apologize. Let's see here. Square miles of Western Australia and square miles of Alaska. Let's see, like side by side. So Alaska is 665,400 400 million is, you know, numbers. 665,400 square miles, where that can't be right. Square miles of Western Australia state. Wow. Way bigger. 1.021 million square miles to 665,400 square miles. Now, that's what they should have compared. That's impressive. That's insane. And realistically, the population between the two are probably spot on with each other. Like as far as like amount of people to square mileage. Quick question. Since y'all use kilometers, when you talk about fuel economy and you say, like we say, the mileage of the car, like what's the mileage on your odometer? The thing that reads your mileage or kilometerage. What do y'all call that? Because we call it mileage based off of miles. What is your term for kilometers? I was thinking about that the other day.
And utterly dwarf the UK. Okay, moving on to the economies of these three countries. Starting off with their total GDP, the gross domestic product. The gross domestic product reflects the value and productivity of an economy. It measures the market value of all the final goods and services produced
I want a boat
annually.
so bad.
With an economy of roughly $1.3 trillion, Australia is the lowest out of the three. Then we have the UK with the 5th largest economy in the world with a GDP of around 3 trillion. And then finally, the big one.
You know what's crazy? I think California has the same GDP of the UK. Or pretty close to it.
On the world's largest economy, the US with a phenomenal $20 to $21 trillion. To put this in perspective, the second highest in the world is China with roughly 15 trillion, and then Japan, and then Germany with 5 trillion and 3.8 trillion respectively. And now that we've seen their GDP, let's take a look at the GDP per capita. So we get this by dividing the total GDP by the total population. So the US takes a clear win here with $62,600. The UK is actually the lowest with $45,500, and then sitting nicely in between is Australia with $52,200.
So maybe y'all could explain to me this. I don't know anything about economics or anything like that. I got a general idea, but a very, very basic general idea. Why are we higher than somebody like the UK? Because I'm thinking per person, I just don't get it. Why is the UK not the highest? I don't get that. I would think it is. Because they brag. And I'm not trying to start fights or talk trash or anything, because they call us stupid. I've seen it in my comments. I usually delete them or I'll hide them from the channel. Anybody that talks trash about me or the United States, I'm sorry, but you're probably not going to ever see your comments. Nobody's going to ever see your comments. You can still comment, but nobody's going to see them. Or if you talk trash about any other country, same thing happens. But please explain just how that actually works. I don't understand it.
And to end the video, let's now take a look at some quality of life statistics. I didn't even realize. Starting off with the obesity rates for these three nations.
Number one
in the country that are classed as obese. So unfortunately, it's not a great result for these three countries. The UK has the lowest at roughly 28%, followed by Australia with 29%, and then the US with around 36%. It's quite obvious that the modern Western standard diet is
I thought we were way fatter than everybody else. Dude, Australia, you better watch out. You're crossing over that 30%. But 36% can be fixed. You know what I mean? Through education and things like that. Hell, I bet you 30% is the south the south portion of the United States. And unfortunately, I'm not, that's probably being sarcastic a bit, but probably not by much. I bet you they make up a huge percentage of it. Because I bet you just the South is probably like 60% of their population is overweight. So probably even more than that. But I'm amazed. Y'all a lot closer to us than I thought. It's especially the UK. They got all them posh people talking trash. You're right behind us, homies. We might be losing weight because I'm pretty sure we were closer to 50%. I thought we were much higher to 50%. Because I'm pretty sure I thought we were like top 2, top 3 in the world. Curious.
extremely poor, or perhaps the education of health is poor, or maybe it's the constant bombardment of adverts for cheap fast food which is widely available.
That's definitely an
Out of the
issue
three,
here.
Only the UK has a public healthcare system. Australia has by far the most hospital beds and physicians per 1,000 people. Perhaps this has something to do with their tight immigration rules. They only allow skilled workers who are needed into their country. So now it's your turn.
That and the fact that they have that is interesting. That's how that is. Like, I get it for the United States. I mean, I wonder how they figured that number. Because it seems like in the United States, there's literally hospitals, and it's annoying. They call them emergency rooms. Like, literally, maybe I could be there in 2 minutes walking. There's they call it just like an emergency, but you can go in there and just kind of get like, even if you don't have insurance, you can get checked out for like $80. You can get like x-rays and all that kind of stuff. It's real cheap. And those are the places that most of the people that have no insurance go. But then you have people that have insurance, they'll go to like specific doctors and all that kind of stuff. Like, I have a specific doctor I go to, but to be fair, they don't really have beds. Those are only in the ERs and those kind of, or actual hospitals, which that's interesting. Actually, I never even really thought about that, but I wonder if we've gotten skinnier, because I swear, let's see here. I want to look that up, actually. Bear with me. Not American obesity change over time graph. Obesity in America in 4 charts. Let's pull this over so y'all can see it. Let's see here. Nope, we've gotten fatter. I'm not even reading it. Overweight prevalence among children. They've grown to 6.1%. Obesity prevalence among... Okay, I don't get this. What is this? According to the CDC, the percentage of overweight, obese, and severely... Oh, okay. Overweight is low. Oh, so it's either we're skinny or we're fat. There's no in between, is basically what it's saying for children. Let's see here. For adults, severely obese is actually quite low. It's under 10%, which is quite impressive. Obese, which is where I would classify. Actually, I classified in severely obese. At 250 pounds, at 5'7", I'm classified as severely obese. So I'm definitely in this category. I've probably switched now to just being obese. So I'm now in this category, and then my goal is to be just overweight. That is so terrible. But that hasn't changed. There's very little change there. That's interesting. I thought we were way freaking fatter. And then there's a comparison. Oh, boys and girls. Okay. Boys, where'd you go? So as kids, boys overweight compared to girls, which it looks like girls are actually gotten fatter than guys. Interesting. And then But that could be a big part of people pushing the narrative of beauty in your skin no matter what, which I agree and disagree with. Wow, that was a huge growth. Look at that. In the 70s, it was like 4 to 5%, and now it's like they're all obese, but it's still under in the 20 percentile, which is, I guess, realistically in hindsight, is better than being, in the 30s. Not hindsight, but just in like, same for the girls, man. Them girls, we all got fat together. Let's see here. And then let's see adults. Oh, so we've kind of stayed about this. Oh, okay, here we go. Green among men. So we have actually gotten skinnier and gotten less overweight than we went over here to being obese. But then our extreme severe obesity has dropped drastically, or has stayed about the same, gone up a little bit. So we're not getting any healthier. So y'all are just getting fatter, I guess, is what it comes down to, which is quite interesting. But anyways, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Until next time, bye.